Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Wait for to get up in here, man. Do a quick little live stream, talk about these fights this weekend. Obviously, we got the good welterweight matchup. Porter versus Garcia. I like that fight. But obviously, I want to touch on the two heavyweight fights that I'm really anticipating this weekend. Um, the first one is Kownacki versus Martin. Was good, Lawrence Williams. Kownacki versus Martin, that's a good one. I like what I'm hearing. I was seeing some interviews today. Kownacki, they did a little presser today. I'm really waiting for the weigh-in tomorrow to see what these guys weigh in at. I know it's heavyweight. They're not, expected to come in at a certain weight, but I want to just see what they. Tone Bangers was good to everybody showing up. Just see what these guys are weighing in at, especially Kownacki and Martin, because in both of their last fights, they came in heavy compared to the fight before that. Charles Martin, he came in at about 255, I think, for his last fight against Byron Poli. The fight before that against Michael Marone, I forgot who he fought before, how those fights went in order, but I know Poli and Marone was his last two fights. He was 242 for one of the fights, and he came in at 255 for his last fight. So it's kind of like, I just want to see what his focus is like. I like what I hear. It's not this walk the earth like a god shit. I mean, he's not talking about none of that. So I definitely like what I'm hearing from him. Man, and I've said before that I like that he's being more humble. Now, when I say that, I don't mean you have to be humble and come in kissing people's ass and wishing people, hoping people like you. Nah, you can talk shit, but you got to back it up, man. And if you fall on your face, it's okay to be humble a little bit. You know what I mean? Not to necessarily get people to like you, but just for yourself to get your mind back right and focus on what you need to do. Um, and I like that he's taking that approach. Now he's just on some his attitude is more of, hey, I'm gonna let my hands do the talking. I'll put in the work with I know he has Henry Tillman. He's working with Henry Tillman. He's working with Jeff Mayweather. You know what I mean? So um I like the fact that he has that approach that, hey man, I'm gonna let my hands do the talking this time. I'm not really talking shit. I'm just confident in what I can do and my abilities. I definitely like that about his approach to this fight. Kownacki, I got to hear him talk today. Uh, he said that pretty much the Archer Spilka fight was the appetizer. This coming out of his mouth. He said that was the appetizer, and this right here is the main course. There's a lot on the line for these gentlemen, man. Martin, like I said before, even if he loses the fight, it's how you lose, man. If he goes out on his shield, he puts up a good effort. If he comes up short, the fans will respect him for that. You know what I mean? But we're not handing out any brownie points, right? These dudes want these victories so they can go on with their career. Let me see what else showed up in the building. James Coleman was good, man. Unbiased boxing was good. Um, so definitely want to see how that pans out. Then I'm sorry, Kownacki in his fight against Spilka, he was 242. Then his last fight that he had with Lago Kiladze, he came in at about 260. So he's a big guy, but I didn't understand the 260. And he was getting touched in that fight. Kiladze was touching him up, moving him, using the jab, circling. He was piecing him up, but Kownacki's like Pac-Man. He just keep eating. You know what I'm saying? He just kept coming forward, kept eating them up, kept taking shots to land his shots. I think he'll do more of the same. I heard Jarrell Miller, seen an interview with him. He had done some rounds with Kownacki. We know that they grew up together in Brooklyn since they were teens, so they sparred hundreds of rounds together. But even Jarrell was saying that he likes, well, he was sparring the man, but he was saying he was giving praise to Kownacki. It's his friend anyways, right? But talking about their sparring session, I just can't wait to see how Martin handles this pressure. Not just the pressure that Kownacki's going to put on him, but also the pressure, you're in the co-main. That's one thing. You're on Showtime. And the pressure just to perform well. You know what I mean? On top of the physical pressure that Kownacki's going to put on him. Now, when I was listening to his interviews, I think it was an ES News interview I saw. I think Barbershop. I think Fred did an interview with him as well. They're asking about the AJ situation. He just handled that, as best as he could. Just pretty much saying that he was saying that he wasn't his best that night. obviously. You know what I mean? Because I've seen him perform way better. Now, he had Anthony Joshua in front of him, right? That's a lot different than having Joey DeWeco in front of you, right? Cool. But the same thing is, though, man, he seemed more in tune in those fights. He seemed more just ready, like he had more of a game plan in those fights I seen him in. Stick and move, stay at a distance. You know, in the AJ fight, he looked like a deer in headlights, man. Like he had no clue what he wanted to do as far as in the ring. And once he got hit, you know, he just didn't react how you think a title holder should react. You know, so but this is a moment for redemption for him, man. You know, we'll see what happens with that. You know, but let me see. I see for you. The odd fella was good. He says Kownacki looked slightly nervous, in my opinion. You talking about as far as the interview? Because if it's the interview things, he's probably nervous just being to getting this type of attention. He got some attention for the Spilka fight that was on Fox, but this is probably his most significant fight as of this far. And some dudes, they just when they're getting interviewed and it's like this many lights and this many people, and you know, as the stages get higher and higher for these guys, some guys just don't know how to deal. They come across real nervous, stuttering over their words, and you know what I mean, or giving real short answers. You know what I mean? So it could be some of that, but once that first punch is thrown up in there, man, I think that nervousness is gonna go away. Once you get some good leather right on your face, I think the nervousness just kind of evaporates. But yeah, when I was listening to Martin talk and he had Jeff Mayweather on his side, so they were talking. Well, maybe it wasn't that interview, but I've seen a few interviews where I've seen him, Henry Tillman, and Jeff Mayweather all in the same interview. But anyways, I think his game plan, because when I seen Jeff doing the mitts with him, they wasn't doing that classic Mayweather shit. I think one of the interviewers asked him about that. He's like, "Nah, man, I'm a big man. You know that tricky stuff. Now that's not for me." Is pretty much what he was saying. Big dude like 6'5", you don't need to do no Mayweather drill work. You know what I mean? Learn how to stick that, especially when you 6'5", 6'6", long reach. Man, learn how to get that stick out there, that jab. Work on that motherfucker. Keep people on the outside of your punches. If they try to rush in, work on the uppercut. Being able to pivot off your lead foot. That's the type of shit you need to work on. And that's the style of mitt work that Jeff was doing with him. I've seen a lot of jabbing. I've seen a lot of straight lefts and turning. So I think they'll try to implement that. You know, but like Mike Tyson say, man, you know, everybody got to play until they get hit. So once he starts to get hit and that pressure gets put on him, we will see if he'll stick to his jab or he try to slug or what's going to happen. He's going to try to tie up on the inside. It's going to be an interesting scrap, man. Then the other fight I want to talk about is the Amir Mansour versus Hrgovic fight. I'm excited about this one, man. It's not going to be, from my understanding, shit, it ain't going to be televised. Probably have to, if you're in the U.S. like me, you'll probably have to catch this shit on YouTube or something. Maybe you can find a stream for it. But Hrgovic, man, people been asking me, is he getting pushed too fast? To me, it really doesn't even matter, man. If this is if this is the route that him and his team, and he has to sign off on it because he's the fighter, you know, I think he's ready for this. I guess we won't know until after. You know, I mean, if he gets his ass whooped, he got pushed too quick. If he goes in there and win, then hey, it's right on his pace. You know what I mean? But on paper, boy, it's gonna be tough as hell because Mansour, I know he's 46, and I know I've said that age catches up with you eventually, but he is an in shape fucking 46. I know 46 is still 46, but damn, this dude's in impeccable condition, man, as far as just physically. I follow him on Facebook, man, and you know, some guys will post pictures like, hey, I'm at the gym, you know, got the gloves on and shit, got a little sweat going, but this dude actually does like Facebook lives and goes on 40-minute runs, literally talking and answering questions, running, sweating like a motherfucker's hoodie on, everything. Dude's in great shape, man. He's always in gyms, putting up stuff, working his legs. I know he had was like 10 or 11 years where he was locked up, so it wasn't like he was in the ring having drag out fights, getting beat up. But since he has came back, he's been in some really good fights, man. The DeWeco was a good scrap. The fight he had with what's my man's name? The dude that fought Chris Ariel, fucking Kaufman. That was a good scrap. Then he's fought Gerald Washington. So he's used to fighting big guys. He's fought Gerald Washington, fought Dominic Brazil, had Brazil down on his ass. You know what I mean? Washington fight could have went either way. So he's used to dealing with big guys. His last fight was against Kuzman, which was last fall. They both suffered nasty cuts in that fight. I thought they're going to have a rematch. For whatever reason, um, the rematch didn't come about. And good thing for Amir Mansour, and one of the reasons why I like him, because I like his story. I like that he was able to get out of prison and turn it, and get back on track with the boxing. Um, he's been wanting to fight who's who for years. I remember he had a stretch where he was calling out Wilder. People was like, "Oh, he just saying that." I was like, "Nah, Amir Mansour really wants to. If he say he wants to fight somebody, he's one of them dudes in boxing that if he says he really wants to fight the dude, he really wants to fight the dude. Whether you think he'll win or lose, he really wants to fight the dude. He isn't one of them dudes that just talk. And that's what I like about Amir, because he stays in shape. He could have easily said, "Look, man, I'm not in shape right now. You guys are catching me at it. Nah, fuck that. I'm ready to go now. Where's it at? Croatia? Bet. Let's go." Now, some of you may say, "Well, he's in a position where he has to take fights like these." Yeah, he is, but at least he knows that, because some guys are in his situation where nobody's really calling him out for fights, and when they do get a call up to take a fight on short notice, the money may be right or it may not be right, or they're not in shape yet. Like, and that's why I never get about professional fighters. Like, what do you mean yet? Motherfucker, you're supposed to stay in shape year round. Like, this is what you do. You know what I mean? This isn't some Monday through Friday and then take the weekend off. You always stay in shape. Now, do you have to be in training camp shape? Not necessarily, but at least be at or around your weight, especially if you're a heavyweight, man. If you usually come in at 245, there's no reason for your big ass to be 270 pounds. You need to be at or around, maybe 6 or 7 pounds off if you get like a week to train for the fight, but you should be in the gym, sparring twice a week, at least going in there hitting the bag, at least doing, 15 to 20 rounds on the bag. You can have I got a bag at my house, so I know you pro fighters got bags and a little bike or something and some little, you should be doing this stuff at home, man. Even if you go on a vacation, you can go get a run in, So I like Amir that he stays in shape. And this is one of the reasons why he's taking this fight, because he knows that he's in shape. He knows that he's ready. That fight with Kuzman was supposed to take place, I believe, in July, and it never came about. Kuzman's in the gym as well, too, so I'm not sure what happened with that. But even in that fight, it got stopped because of the head clash. Mansour's a smart pressure fighter. I know, and then the one thing that I noticed about this, too, is going to be Amir's first fight this year. So I know he stays in shape, but it's his first fight this year versus Hrgovic. I believe this is his 4th or 5th fight this year. He's 5-0. I think this is his 4th fight. But both of these guys, although Hrgovic has the height and reach advantage, they come in at the same weight. Amir Mansour's last 2 fights came in at 224. I remember he dropped down to 210 for the Dueco fight. The fight previous, I believe, was Cassie. It could have been Cassie or somebody else, but he was like at 232 for that fight. Then going into Dueco, I remember the conversation piece was, man, maybe he's lost too much weight for this fight. You know what I mean? Then he got back up to 224. Hrgovic last fight, he was 224. I think the most he came in at since he's turned pro is about 228, under 230. So although he's 6'6", he's in one of these 6'6", 260 pounders. You know what I mean? So he's kind of following that, that physique, or not necessarily the physique, but the weight and the height of, like, I know Wilder weighs less than him, but Wilder's came into like 228 in a few fights. Huey Fury's another tall guy that weighs, like 230 somewhere in there. So just because he's 6'6", 6'7", these guys aren't packing on a lot of weight. Charles Martin, back to him real quick, because I don't want to forget this before I get off, but he was saying that he got a lot of rounds in with Joe Joyce. We know that Joe Joyce is in camp with Sanchez, Abel Sanchez, and he's out in Big Bear. He's with Al Heyman now, so he's going to be making his U.S. debut. So that'd be interesting as well. But Charles Martin said he got a lot of rounds in with Joe Joyce. According to Charles Martin, what he said in the interview I seen on ES News, that they had some guys up there, whoever it was, and I wish he would have said who it was, because I just want to know who these guys were. But he said the work, it wasn't really good work. So either he was whooping their ass or they wasn't trying to work with them properly. I don't know. But he said he was glad that Joe Joyce was up there, because he got some really good work in. He spoke very highly of Joe Joyce. You know what I mean? But I wish I knew who the heavyweights were that were up there. So back to Mansour Hrgovic, man. I'm still picking Hrgovic because just usually, man, the younger guy usually win these types of fights, man. But damn, this dude is taking this fight at only 5-0, man. Like, this is crazy. I got to commend the young fella, man. I got to commend him. But this class of 2016 Olympic class, not just the guys that medaled, but guys that made the Olympics, like F.A. Ajagba, and then the guys that medaled, like Philippe Hrgovic, Yoka, Tony Yoka, Joel Joyce, Ivan Daichko. I think these guys are going to get fast track, man. Um, you already see Joe Joyce calling out Chisura and who else? He called out a group of people. I think he called out Jarrell Miller. There's a few people that Joe Joyce called out. He even said that he would fight Ortiz, but I think he said not next, but I'll fight him though, probably after a fight. So but Joe Joyce is already in his 30s. A lot I know like Hrgovic is only 26. So a lot of these guys are young, but I think that they're coming in with so much amateur experience, looking at the division as it if it's a division that's wide open, seeing the guys who are title holders pretty much start the sport themselves late, like an Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, you know what I mean? So they're probably looking at it like, well, shit, I have way more amateur experience than that guy or this guy or that guy, you know what I mean? So I think they're bringing that they're bringing that element into being pros, and they think that they can just, this isn't the 90s and 80s where you had to work your way up to 20-0 like most of the guys. I know every fighter didn't do it, but like most of the guys did back in the day. It's just a different, don't necessarily mean it's better, but it's just different. You know what I mean? So I think we'll see a lot more of that, especially if guys are literally coming off of football fields and basketball courts. If you're a guy that's had 300 fucking amateur fights and this dude literally came off a basketball court and had a handful of, amateur fights, you'll just automatically think, well, shit, I'm more experienced than him. I don't need 20 fucking pro fights. I just need a couple pro fights and I can fight the same level of opposition as this guy, but we will see. The odd fella says the heavyweight division is weak. They can get fast tracked. GG Allen says Joe Joyce, if he think he's world level, should call out Joseph Parker. Parker's looking for an opponent right now. St. Cruzan was good. He says, man, sure, should tire, but could get him early. It's going to be a good one, man. AZ says Joyce need a better opposition than Kiladze. Yeah, Kiladze's starting to turn in like to the gatekeeper guy. Kiladze probably had a better opportunity in his career had he stayed at cruiserweight. I'm not sure if just getting down to that cruiserweight level was kind of hindering him. But yeah, at heavyweight, he just doesn't seem to have the punch. He has a pretty good skill set. If you really look at him fight, he kind of fights in that Klitschko-esque style, as I like to put it, where he's I call it a heavy lead hand fighter, meaning he'll have his right hand. I know it's going to show it, me being southpaw, but he'll have his right hand next to his chin, and then he'll use his jab kind of to probe with it, and then he can strike hard lead hooks, hard uppercuts, and step in hard with the jab. It doesn't work all the time, you know what I mean, especially when he's fighting the opposition that he's been fighting. But I like the guy, man. I just think he's like gatekeeper at heavyweight right now. I mean, he lost to Michael Hunter Jr. Then he got stopped by Kownacki. So I see Joe Joyce going in there and making it into a fight, putting a lot of pressure on him. He may miss a little bit because he's a little clunky. He may miss a little bit, but once he really starts to tag him and put some leather on him, I think Kiladze will fold in the middle rounds just due to just too much pressure. He can't handle it. But I think early on he may have success in the first round and a half. That's what he does. He'll move. He'll use that jab. He'll counter you coming in. And then once you put too much pressure on him, he'll go against the ropes, put the high guard up, and then he just gets into a fight, and then he end up getting out slugged. Roz Cloud 222 was good, man. Matthew Valentine was good. He says shout out from break. Was good. James Coleman says Joe Joyce is basically saying he can scrap, but I got band practice, so not today. Why say it then? Yeah, when he called out Ortiz, he's like, yeah, I'll fight him. Not next, though, but I'm going to fight him. It's like, oh, here we go again with people saying they'll fight him, but not next, though. But this video is really going to be short. Let me see the time. Yes, 9:44 around here. So, yeah, it's going to be short. Tone Banger says, Deontay Wilder would have crushed Mansour, but Amir is a strong motherfucker. Yeah, yo, because around that time, just damn, man. And I'm pushing for Amir. Because I really like his story, man. I like that he's an older guy. He stays in shape. he's what a lot of these young dudes should be looking up to as far as what he conducts himself as a fighter outside the ring by staying in the fucking gym. You know what I mean? But I noticed in that Washington fight, he was getting caught on the way in a lot. He got caught with some good uppercuts, good straight right hands, because he was coming out his guard, and he'll open up to throw hooks. He was opening up, boom, Gerald was coming right down the middle on him. But the thing with Gerald is he doesn't punch as hard as Wilder, and he wasn't following up when he caught him. Like Gerald would catch him with a good uppercut. Amir Mansour had to go back. Gerald to like kind of admire it, his work, and then just move back. And I'm sitting there like, damn, bro, like, follow up. You know what I mean? He didn't follow up nothing, man. So I don't know. But Wilder, if he catch you right down the middle of the right hand, you might be in a mild coma. You know what I mean? But Amir does have tendency where he can fight smart on the outside, like he was doing against Sergey Kuzmin. He made Kuzmin the aggressor. You know, Amir can switch it up on you. He's the dude's a smart. He's a smart aggressive fighter. You know what I mean? Kind of like what Povetkin can do a little bit too, where they can box you on the outside, use a jab, put the guard up, try to parry your shot, catch it, and come back with another shot, give you different looks, you know, try to find ways in and openings. Like he's a smart guy. It's not like he's coming in there and just going straight at you, Joe Frazier style. And nothing against the great Joe Frazier, but sometimes that shit doesn't work for everybody. You got to be blessed with that type of chin and ability. You know, guys like Joe Frazier, one of a kind. And Joe, to go back on Joe, he was smart. Although he fought like that, he was smart with his head movement. He can rip your body apart, and he had a tough chin. You know what I mean? And that motherfucker was like a machine. It's like somebody put a battery in Joe Frazier's back, because he would just bob and weave and bob and weave. He was in excellent condition to do that, man. I don't think people really understand the type of condition you have to be in to fight like Joe Frazier. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Like some people couldn't even probably emulate that type of shit on a heavy bag with not even getting punched back. You know what I mean? But shouts out to Joe Frazier, man. One of the best to do it. But I'm just saying that Amir's style isn't like that. But that style is hard to that shit is hard. George Sil Kirk says Joe Joyce for Lago Kalazi is a complete mismatch, right? Joyce should easily pick him apart and stop him early, in my opinion. Yeah, he's gonna beat the shit out of him. I'm just like, even though I think it's a mismatch, what I like to do is I still like to break down the fights and the styles. You know what I mean? I know sometimes people say, "Oh, that's not even necessary." Well, to me, it is. 'Cause I like breaking down. That's just my thing. I like breaking down. I watch so many fights. I just love breaking down styles. But yeah, in a nutshell, he's gonna whoop his ass. You know what I mean? In a nutshell, yeah. Um, all right, y'all. This one was super short, only 23 minutes here, man. It's literally all the time I got right now. But I appreciate y'all showing up. I'm gonna do some more videos tomorrow. I'm gonna be looking at that weigh-in, man. I'm curious to see how much Martin comes in at. Is he gonna be back in the 240? He fought AJ about 245 when he came back and made his initial return when he fought Mike Marone, or was it Byron Poli? One of the two. He was 242, so he was lower than he was for the AJ fight. Then his last fight, the last fight he had, what was that fight? But the last fight he had, he came into like 255. So hopefully he comes back in the 244 range, somewhere in there, 245. That'd be good. And then Adam, his last fight was 260. The fight before that, which was Spilka, he was 242. So I'm just curious of what these weights look like. Amir Mansour and Hrgovic, both their last fights, they came in both at 224. So Hrgovic, you know, being that Mansour is going to be able to get under Hrgovic, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out if Hrgovic is going to be physically strong enough to bully Mansour on the inside and push him around. But Mansour's an adorable motherfucker though, man. And he is not going to be intimidated by no means by the size of Hrgovic. You know what I mean? So two great fights, man. Two really good fucking fights with a lot on the line. With a lot on the line. You know, so definitely appreciate you guys showing up, man. This was a short one today. Gonna be back on here tomorrow, man. So y'all be easy. I'm gone.